Welcome, my friends, and thanks for joining me today. I'm Lorna Schumann with the Illinois State Museum, and today we're going to talk about how scientists and we as people put things into groups. It's really about making sense of the world and understanding it better. So we as people actually group things together based on what they have in common and what differences they have. And I'm talking really how scientists do to help us understand how to put our world together. So remember that, and what we're going to do today is we're going to take my little object bag I have. It's a bunch of little common objects, and we're going to figure out how to sort them and figure out how they go into groups. So let's look at what we have. We have quite a few objects out through there. Hopefully you can see them. They're made of different things. And if I asked you how to sort them, how would you separate them into groups, saying that we had to have at least 3 groups? We could do more. What are the ways you would? Maybe I might sort it one way and you might sort it a different way. But we would all sort it, and any way we sorted it, as long as we had some rules or some ways that we were separating it, it is totally fine. It's right. When we come together, though, as a group, we might make an agreement on how to divide things into separate groups. So let's look at my little things down here. Now, one of the things I noticed right off the bat is that I have 2 paper clips. One's big and one's small. And so I'm going to put them into a group. And I start looking at my things, and one of the things that stands out to me is I have a lot of things made out of metal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my metal items like this, and this, and this, and this one, and this one, and I'm going to put them into a group together, because they're all made out of metal. So I'm separating my items based on what they're made out of. So the next thing that I see right away is this, a clothespin. It's made out of wood. And I notice I have a couple of other items made out of wood. This one also. I have this that's made out of wood, a pencil. And then I'm like, I think I got most of them. So the other thing I notice is that these 2 items are different colors, but they look the same. So I'm going to put them into a group, and I notice they're kind of rubbery. So that's going to be another group I have. And I know that I have my rubber band right here. That's kind of rubbery. And I look around and I see what else I have. I see that I have this, which is made out of plastic. So I'm going to create something made out of plastic. When I start looking at it, I pick this up and I realize, is this made out of plastic or is it more rubber? And as I squeeze it, I realize it's more rubber, so I'm going to put it in that pile. Then I'm going to look at my other plastic. This is made out of plastic. This is made out of plastic. I pick this up and I notice it could be out of plastic or it could be out of wood. What does it look like to you? It looks more wood to me, so I'm going to put it in my wood pile. Then I'm going to pick this up. This has some metal on it. It also has some plastic, but it feels more metal to me, so I'm going to put it in my metal pile. And then I have one other item left. This is a pom-pom. It's soft. It doesn't fit in wood or metal or in plastic or in rubber. It's kind of in its own, so I'm going to create its own pile that it belongs to. And there I've separated my items into piles. I can really understand how I set up my classes or my groups. That's something that matters. There's other ways. You could divide it by color. You could divide it by the shape it is. You could divide it by what you think it was used for. There's lots of different ways, and no way is necessarily right. But for scientists, when they're talking about animals and plants and living things, we like to put them into groups of things that they have in common and then break those out. So I could take my groups and break them down even further by separating them out a different way. So if I looked at you and I saw a group of animals and I said, can you find all the dogs? You could probably pull out all the dogs. Or if I said, find all the cats, you could pull out the cats. Well, scientists actually created questions, checklists that we can go down, and charts to help us separate animals and living things into different places. Scientists call this taxonomy. Can you guys say taxonomy for me? It's a big science word, but it basically means putting things into groups that they are alike to help us understand how things are related to each other. Well, I hope you learned a little bit more about how scientists and we as people separate our living things into groups so that we can talk about them. Thanks for joining me. Take care.